Ruchkowski. Duke's Market Stone's position bankruptcy court with Village Market's 2 mills located in Henrico County. What precautions do you feel need to be taken to retain the Hopewell lands?
I have had the opportunity to talk to a couple of folks that work at Market Stone. Unfortunately, neither one of their last names were Schmerkel or Stone. But they do believe that their plant is on fairly solid ground at this time, and they don't think that it's going to go anywhere or have any negative impact in the short term. However, we need to realize as a city that industry makes up about 25% of our workforce and pays about 28% of our taxes, our tax base. So any industry that leaves this city is going to hurt us. We need to prepare for that. We need to start looking ahead. We also need to understand that the machinery and tool tax, as we know it, is probably going to go away in the next year or 2 years. I think Governor McDonald has made it a priority to eliminate the machinery and tool tax in order to serve as an incentive to bring more business to the state. Hopefully some would come here, but it may not be. That's $4.1 million. We have a great exposure. It's imperative to us as a city that we look at diversifying our tax base. We've got the biochemical and Osage plant. That's great, and that's going to bring in some money to us. But we can't stop there. We've got to do things now to prepare for when and if that happens.
Thank you. Mr. Adon. Municipal Code for the City of Hopewell, Chapter 2, Article 1, Section 2 through 4, contain residency requirements for certain city officers and department heads. Currently, there are 2 directors that do not live in the City of Hopewell. If elected, what would be your position on this date?
I've already had a position on this even before I'm elected. I feel that these 2 department heads should be following the code. I think that all of our department heads should live and have a vested interest in the community that they're working in. I think it is important for department heads, and unfortunately, I would like to have all of the workers live in town. However, I know that we can't do that. But I think it only gives more meaning to the job that they're providing and the services that they're providing to the citizens if they live next door.
Thank you. Mr. Harris. Municipal Code for the City of Hopewell has residency requirements for certain city officers and department heads. Currently, there are 2 directors that do not live in the City of Hopewell. If elected, what would your position on this be?
My position would be to have all of them live in the city. That has been discussed on several occasions. And I have not been able to convince the administration that this is the way to go.
Thank you. Mr. Ruchkowski. There are residency requirements for city officers and code. Currently, there are 2 directors who do not live in the city. If elected, what would your position on this be?
I think the realistic answer to that question is there's probably nothing we can do to those 2 directors to force them to sell their home and move into Hopewell. However, I do believe that directors, I believe the police officers ought to live in Hopewell. I think it's important for the people that work here and earn their money here, pay taxes here, and spend their money here. And there should be no exceptions. So I don't know what we can do, if anything, really, about the 2 that currently exist. But as those positions open up, I think there should be a requirement that people who have those level jobs and higher live in the city. I think that goes back to one of the first questions. We got to improve things in the city so that it will be more attractive for those people to come. If we make a requirement that you have to live in the city, we daggone better well have places that are attractive for them to live, a city that's safe and a good school system, so it will be an easier decision for them to make. Because they'll choose somewhere else. We don't have the support for them to force them to live in this city, but I do think they should. I think police officers should live in this city. I think if you come to work as a police officer, you're going to be worried about crime where you live. And you should live here, so you'll be thinking about it 24/7.
Thank you. Mr. Warner, municipal code for the city has residency requirements for certain city officers and department heads. Currently, there are 2 directors that do not live in the city of Hopewell. If elected, what would your position be?
I definitely think that if you live in the city of Hopewell, you have a vested interest in the city of Hopewell. I would think that it wouldn't be any question at all to these directors that if that was what was stated to them prior to their employment, that's what they need to be doing. I think we need to give them a period of time where they can make that decision and make arrangements to come back to the city. I don't think it's fair to the others. It's like telling a child, don't touch that, but you'll let the other child do it. I think you have to be fair to everyone, and I think it causes dissension among the city employees when a rule is not fair to one. And I really feel that it should be mandatory that the city managers or the city top people live in Hopewell. I think it's wise to choose people before employment to let them know this is our requirements, and if they don't want to live by it, then they can move on.
Thank you. Mr. Emerson, the municipal code of the city of Hopewell has residency requirements for certain city officers and department heads. Currently, there are 2 directors that do not live in the city of Hopewell. If elected, what would your position be?
My position is that we have rules and we have to follow them. That's one of the problems in Hopewell is that we have all the ordinances that you can imagine. We have all the rules that you can imagine, but we're not following those. We're not enforcing those. I think it's only healthy if you're a public relations person. I believe Mr. Bragg is the one that doesn't live in Hopewell. It's a director, and he was just promoted to that position. He should be required in an amount of time to move here. Not sure how he can do his job without being involved in the community. But again, we have the rules. I think that all the rules that we have, let them be legal, ordinance, yards, we all should follow them, and we should enforce them or get rid of them. So in this case, they should move to Hopewell, be an important part of our community.
Thank you. Mr. Buchkowski, should Hopewell City Administration be looking towards tourism as a stronger industry? Please defend your answer one way or the other.
Yes, they should. I think it's an important part of our city that we have tourism. We have a lot here. We have City Point, we have Weston Manor. There's a lot of history in Hopewell. We have the 150th anniversary of the Civil War coming up. It's a prime opportunity for us to invest the money, because it'll take an investment of money in order to attract people here. You have to spend money to make money in most places. We absolutely need to consider tourism as a viable alternative to bringing income into the city.